And then how did you get into this work?
When I was I was 20, I think 20 or 30. 30.
It's a big
I forgot. I'm
difference.
already 56. When I was 30, I met this guy, and I'm not going to mention his name. And we fell in love, right?
Mm-hmm.
He put a ring on my finger, and it changed,
Mm-hmm.
and it went south. He hit me one time,
Oof.
and I made sure justice got to him.
Hmm.
You know,
Was it pretty early on in the
it
relationship?
was just a one-time hit. I was trying to get him airline tickets for his daughter so that they can go visit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got it. I was going to get it for free. And all he had to do is pay for the buddy taxes, buddy pass, whatever, $14 on Continental. And he hit me.
Wow.
And I had long, beautiful hair.
Mm-hmm.
He was very controlling. After the ring got on my finger,
You became controlling, yeah.
And things went south. And there's so many details, but I had to wait a whole year to get him in the justice system, and Texas took care of him, you know. And I'm like, I pressed charges to the fullest extent.
Mm-hmm.
He learned his lesson, and I went about my life, and he went about his life. But during that time, I was working for Adrian Crane, a big personal injury law firm with staff of 26 attorneys. Huh. And he's no longer in business, so that's why I can mention him.
What were you doing there?
I was a assistant.
Okay.
For a big law firm.
Yeah.
And I learned how to gather. I knew how to gather information. And I'm like, this is it came so easy for me because I can put things together just by looking at them. And it's easy. It's like natural for me. I can see the picture where it needs to be. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need. This is what I need. That's why when I go get information, I'm like, we're going to take a shortcut and we're going to get that within an hour. Like how? It's going to take a week to get this FOIA request. Not for me. And, I'm going to get it.
Wow, we really need to work together.
We need to get it. Yeah. So during that time, 2 weeks, my agent said, Michelle, I'm going to give you 2 weeks off. Handle this guy. I don't want him calling the office. Mm-hmm. This is a professional, setting. Handle your business. You'll have your job when you get back. Well, during that 2 weeks, I met this guy who was in the tow business. And I was very naive, smart in an engineering mindset, but I was very naive. I trusted. During that time, I met this guy named Russell. We're still friends like this. Mm-hmm. He was in the repossession business. And I told him everything was going on. And he says, look, let your truck be where it needs to be. I already know where it's at. They're not going to charge you. You can use my car. Mm-hmm. And in the meanwhile, we need a skip tracer. And I was like, what the hell is that? That sounds illegal. I don't want to do nothing illegal, And he goes, no, are you open? Are you open-minded? I'm like, yeah, I'm open-minded. He goes, come with me. Mm-hmm. And so we go to this place, and it's a yard full of trucks and trailers and all kinds of junk cars. And I'm like, Russell, I don't have clothes for this kind of stuff. I have business clothes, He goes, just come in. Just come in. I go in there, and it's like NCIC. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is my playground, Beautiful. Don't ever judge a book by its cover. Yeah. And that's true right there. That's a true story.
Yeah. So that day
it was a repossession. It's an industry of repossession. And the guy was a PI, ex-military, special ops. Yeah. I mean, this guy, Brian, was badass, and I was going to be taught by him. So he gave me the first, he was like, this is what we do. This is what it's about. And I'm like, repossession. I'm like, what do you do? Like, he goes, I take cars. I repossess cars. I don't know if I could do this. You're taking cars away from people that are trying to keep it, And he goes, well, they can't pay. It's a business. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know. It sounds like unethical. He goes, no, this is a business. It's very ethical. It's very lawful. Everything's good. And like I said, I come from a different world. Mm-hmm. It's just a different world for me, And I'm like, and I never had to work like that, in that environment where you're negotiating things over the table that belong to somebody, right? But yet they can't keep it because they can't pay for it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand that world. Okay, it was hard for me to comprehend that. So I said, let me consult with my father and see if this is okay. He goes, well, let's do a run. Let's do a run and let's see if you like this. That way you can go back to your father and see if it's okay. I said, okay. So he tries one. He tries an account. It didn't go good for him. He goes, you try this account. This is the backstory on this jacket. the vehicle, it's a van. It needs to be picked up. The father has passed away. Her father has passed away. And the van she's harboring it. She doesn't want to give it up. She's always blocking it. We do know where the house is at, but she's always blocking it and we can't get to it. I said, okay, what else? It's been gone for 8 months and we cannot get it. We need to get it. I said, okay, give me the number. Boom, I call it. And I'm like, little girl answers. I go, hi, is your mommy there? Who's this? I said, I need to speak with her. You know, you can't have a conversation with a child. That's one rule in the repossession, under 18. I said, is your mommy there? Hold on. And then she calls the sister. There's a lady on the phone. Who is it? I don't know. The other girl gets on the phone. She sounds like a teenager. She goes, hi, who's this? I said, I need to speak with your mother. She goes, my mom's getting dressed right now. Is this the florist? I said, yes. And I'm listening. You know, I listen. My mom, my dad and dad always said, you need to listen before you talk.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And I said, okay. I said, yes, this is the florist. She goes, where? She immediately jumped into the conversation of, Mom, where's grandpa being placed at? She sounds off at the funeral house. I call it the funeral house. And I'm writing everything down.
Yeah.
And Brian and the Russell are just looking at me like, oh my God, this is easy, too easy for her. And I'm like, okay. I said, we'll be having the florist deliver. And so where's the burial lot going to be? Because there's going to be another set of flowers over there. Mom, where's grandpa going to be, buried at? She gives that location. And I'm like, okay, thank you very much. Boom, hung up. Russell goes, let's go get it. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're not going to get that. They're in bereavement. You're not going to do that. God's going to punish you, He goes, no, Michelle, we've been after this car. I said, no, I'm not going to do this. This is not okay. I said, I start crying. I'm like, this is in their bereavement. She just lost a family member. You're going to take away their car. I said, this is not for me. Y'all going to go to hell. And he goes, no, Michelle, this is a business. And this is what we get paid for. I said, I need to call my dad. And my dad goes,
I love your relationship with your dad.
Yeah,
so
I
great.
said, Dad, these people want to steal people's cars. He goes, they're not stealing your shell. They're just, this is a business, And I said, this is what I did. And it happened so fast. He goes, Michelle, you have ability to listen, you document, and you just go with it. And if that's what they need, then that's what they need to get these cars. Because people, when they're pissed off and their car's about to be taken, they are rebellious. They don't want to be, no, you can't do this, you can't do that, I can't pay, I can't do this. You have to listen. So I learned to be compassionate. And I've become friends with all my debtors.
Oh, wow.
When I was in the repossession, I worked for Rush, Kubota, Freightliner, Mac. I was a contractor with all of them.
These are all repossession companies?
Yeah. Financial institutions for the big assets. That's why I was able to get the big yacht with Ryan Mullins. That's how I ended up on Wired
I want
magazine.
to talk about the Ryan Mullins case as well. That is so interesting. I have so many quick questions. So you did end up then going to repossess this van during the funeral on funeral day?
Let me part two.
Okay.
So I said, Russell, we'll go. I'm going with you. And I'm going to coordinate everything, So we went and I'm like, you need to pay respects to Russell, but let's just wait till they bury him, because I said, this is not okay. I don't even feel comfortable with this. We're going to get shot, or something. He goes, no, we're not going to get shot. We'll just do it when we're at the house. And okay. So they were all going to gather at the house. The van was not blocked by any other family members or nothing like that. It was just a day. And they went in and we got it. And I was in the tow truck and I'm like, I saw the full completion of how this works. And then a few days later, she calls and says, I need to get my personal effects and stuff like that. And
that's in the car.
Yeah. And
was she so sad? I'm sure.
She was upset. She was upset. Bill she had it's over $7,000-8,000 and they didn't have the money, but they had a life insurance plan. And I mitigated that. And I said, look, you don't have any money left over for a life insurance plan? This is the last thing you have of your grandfather. She goes, yeah, we have money left over. I said, look, call the bank and you tell them that you want to pay for this off. And you're going to pay for the repossession fees. But that's all you have left.
And then she could keep the van again?
She
if
could keep the
paid,
van and zero balance.
I love that you
I
learned
to
compassion
be
as well.
compassionate
Yeah.
about these people. And I became friends with almost every debtor.
That is incredible.
And I networked through them. Some of them have good net connections. And I'm like, I'll help you with this.
So it wasn't your job to, in that situation, try to figure out a way for her to pay that money back. Because you, by having the van.
And talking.
But
communication.
Right. But it was because you felt sad for her.
Bad, you know, and
so nice
on both ends. I'm like, this is a rough business, you know, but the business exists for a reason. And it's money.